When God fulfills your longings, sweetness fills your soul. But the wicked refuse to turn from darkness to see their desire come to pass. If you want to grow in wisdom, then spend time with the wise. Walk with the wicked, and you will eventually become just like them. Calamity chases the sin chaser, but prosperity pursues the God lover. The benevolent man leaves an inheritance that endures to his children's children, but the wealth of the wicked is treasured up for the righteous. The lovers of God will live a long life and will get to enjoy their wealth, but the ungodly will suddenly perish. If you withhold correction and punishment from your children, you demonstrate a lack of true love. To prove your love and be prompt to punish them. So prove your love and be prompt to punish them. The lovers of God will have more than enough, but the wicked will always lack what they crave. Chapter 14. Every wise woman encourages and builds up her family, but a foolish woman over time will tear it down by her own actions. Lovers of truth follow the right path because of their wonderment and worship of God, but the devious display their disdain for Him. The words of a proud fool will all come back to haunt him, but the words of the wise will become a shield of protection around them. The only clean stable is an empty stable. So if you want the work of an ox and enjoy an abundant harvest, you'll have a mess or two to clean up. An honest witness will never lie, but a deceitful witness lies with every breath. The intellectually arrogant seek for wisdom, but they never seem to discover what they claim they're looking for. For revelation knowledge flows to the one who hungers for understanding. The words of the wise are like weapons of knowledge. So if you need wise counsel, stay away from the fool. For the wisdom of the wise will keep life on the right track, while the fool only deceives himself and refuses to face reality. Fools mock the need for repentance, while the favor of God rests upon all His lovers. Don't expect anyone else to fully understand both the bitterness and the joys of all you experienced in your life. The household of the wicked is soon torn apart, while the family of the righteous flourishes. You can rationalize it all you want and justify the path of error you have chosen, but you'll find out in the end that you took the road to destruction. Superficial laughter can hide a heavy heart, but when the laughter ends, the pain resurfaces. Those who turn from the truth get what they deserve, but a good person receives a sweet reward. A gullible person will believe anything, but a sensible person will confirm the facts. A wise person is careful in all things and turns quickly from evil, while the impetuous fool moves ahead with overconfidence. An impulsive person has a short fuse and can ruin everything, but the wise show self-control. The naive demonstrate a lack of wisdom, but the lovers of wisdom are crowned with revelation knowledge. Evil ones will pay tribute to good people and eventually come to be servants of the godly. The poor are disliked even by their neighbors, but everyone wants to get close to the wealthy. It's a sin to despise one who is less fortunate than you. But when you are kind to the poor, you will prosper and be blessed. Haven't you noticed how evil schemes always wander astray? But the kindness and truth come to those who make plans to be pure in all their ways. If you work hard at what you do, great abundance will come to you. But merely talking about getting rich while living only to pursue your pleasures brings you face to face with poverty. The true net worth of the wise is the wealth that wisdom imparts, but the way of life for the fool is his foolishness. Speak the truth and you'll save souls, but in the spreading of lies, treachery thrives. Confidence and strength flood the hearts of the lovers of God, who live in awe of Him, and their devotion provides their children with a place of shelter and security. To worship God in wonder and awe opens a fountain of life within you, empowering you to escape death's domain. A king glories in the number of his loyal followers, but a dwindling population spells ruin for any leader. When your heart overflows with understanding, you'll be very slow to get angry. But if you have a quick temper, your impatience will be quickly seen by all. A tender, tranquil heart will make you healthy, but jealousy can make you sick. Insult your Creator, will you? That's exactly what you do every time you oppress the powerless. Showing kindness to the poor is equal to honoring your Maker. The wicked are crushed by every calamity, but the lovers of God find a strong hope, even in the time of death. Wisdom soothes the heart of the one living with understanding, but the heart of the fool just stockpiles stupidity. A nation is exalted by the righteousness of its people, but sin heaps disgrace upon the land. A wise and faithful servant receives promotion from the king, but the one who acts disgracefully gets to taste the anger of the king. Chapter 15. Respond gently when you are confronted, and you'll diffuse the rage of another. Responding with sharp, cutting words will only make it worse. Don't you know that being angry can ruin the testimony of even the wisest of men? When wisdom speaks, understanding becomes attractive, but the words of the fool makes their ignorance look laughable. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere. He takes note of everything that happens. He watches over His lovers, and He also sees the wickedness of the wicked. When you speak healing words, you offer others fruit from the tree of life. But unhealthy, negative words do nothing but crush their hopes. You are stupid to mock the instruction of a father, but welcoming correction will make you brilliant. There is power in the house of the righteous, but the house of the wicked is filled with trouble, no matter how much money they have. When wisdom speaks, revelation knowledge is released. But finding true wisdom in the words of a fool is futile. It is despicable to the Lord when people use the worship of the Almighty as a cloak for their sin. But every prayer to His godly lovers is pleasing to His heart. The Lord detests the lifestyle of the wicked, but He loves those who pursue purity. Severe punishment awaits the one who turns away from the truth, and those who rebel against correction will die. Even hell itself holds no secrets from the Lord God, for all is exposed before His eyes, and so much more, the heart of every human being. The know-it-all never esteems the one who tries to correct him. He refuses to seek good advice from the wise. A cheerful heart puts a smile on your face, but a broken heart leads to depression. Lovers of God hunger after truth, but those without understanding feast on foolishness and don't even realize it. Everything seems to go wrong when you feel weak and depressed, but when you choose to be cheerful, every day will bring you more and more joy and fullness. It's so much better to live simply, surrounded in holy awe and worship of God, than to have great wealth with a home full of trouble. It's so much better to have a kind, loving family, even with little, than to have great wealth with nothing but hatred and strife all around you. A touchy, hot-tempered man picks a fight, but the calm, patient man knows how to silence strife. Nothing seems to work right for the lazy man, but life seems smooth and easy when your heart is virtuous. When a son learns wisdom, a father's heart is glad. But the man who shames his mother is a foolish son. The senseless fool treats life like a joke, but the one with living understanding makes good choices. Your plans will fall apart right in front of you if you fail to get good advice. But if you first seek out multiple counselors, you'll watch your plans succeed. Everyone enjoys giving great advice, but how delightful it is to say the right thing at the right time. The life path of the prudent lifts them progressively heavenward, delivering them from the death spiral that keeps tugging them downward. The Lord champions the widow's cause, but watch him as he smashes down the house of the haughty. The Lord detests the wicked ways of thinking, but he enjoys lovely and delightful words. The one who puts earning money above his family will have trouble at home, but those who refuse to exploit others will live in peace. An honorable man thinks carefully before he speaks, but the careless blurt out wicked words meant to cause harm. The Lord doesn't respond to the wicked, but he's moved to answer the prayers of his godly lovers. Eyes that focus upon what is beautiful bring joy to your heart, and hearing a good report refreshes and strengthens your inner being. Accepting constructive criticism opens your heart to the path of life, making you right at home among the wise. Refusing constructive criticism shows you have no interest in improving your life. For revelation insight only comes as you accept correction and the wisdom that it brings. The source of revelation knowledge is found as you fall down and surrender before the Lord. Don't expect to see Shekinah glory until the Lord sees your sincere humility. Chapter 16. Go ahead, make all the plans you want, but it's the Lord who will ultimately direct your steps. We are all in love with our own opinions, convinced that they're correct. But the Lord is in the midst of us, testing and probing our every motive. Before you do anything, put your trust totally in God and not in yourself. Then every plan you make will succeed. The Lord works everything together to accomplish His purpose. Even the wicked are included in His plans. He sets them aside for the day of disaster. Exalting yourself is disgusting to the Lord, for pride attracts His punishment, and you can count on that. You can avoid evil through surrendered worship and fear of God, for the power of His faithful love removes sin's guilt's grip over you. When the Lord is pleased with the decisions you've made, He activates grace to turn enemies into friends. It's better to have little with a heart that loves justice than to be rich and not have God on your side. Within your heart, you can make plans for your future, but the Lord chooses the steps you take to get there. A king speaks the revelation of truth, so he must be extraordinarily careful in the decrees that he makes. The Lord expects you to be fair in every business deal, for He is the one who sets the standards for righteousness. Kings and leaders despise wrongdoing, for the true authority to rule and reign is built on a foundation of righteousness. Kings and leaders love to hear godly counsel, and they will love those who will tell them the truth. The anger of a king releases the messenger of death, but a wise person will know how to pacify his wrath. Life-giving light streams from the presence of a king, and his favor is showered upon those who please him. Everyone wants gold, but wisdom's worth is far greater. Silver is sought after, but a heart of understanding yields a greater return. Repenting from evil places you on the highway of holiness. Protect purity, and you protect your life. Your boast becomes a prophecy of a Your boast becomes a prophecy of a future failure. The higher you lift up yourself in pride, the harder you'll fall in disgrace. It's better to be meek and lowly and live among the poor than to live high and mighty among the rich and famous. One skilled in business discovers prosperity, but the one who trusts in God is blessed beyond belief. The one with a wise heart is called discerning, and speaking sweetly to others makes your teaching even more convincing. Wisdom is a deep well of understanding, opened up within you as a fountain of life for others, but it's senseless to try to instruct a fool. Winsome words pour from a heart of wisdom, adding value to all you teach. Nothing is more appealing than speaking beautiful life-giving words, for they release the sweetness of our soul and inner healing to our spirit. Before every person there is a path that seems like the right one to take, but it leads them straight to hell. Life motivation comes from the deep longings of the heart, and the passion to see them fulfilled urges you onward. A wicked scoundrel wants to dig up dirt on others, only to spread slander and shred their reputation. A twisted person spreads rumors. A whispering gossip ruins good friendships. A vicious criminal can be persuasive, enticing others to join him as partners in crime, but he leads them all down a despicable path. It's so easy to tell when a wicked man is hatching some crooked scheme. It's written all over his face. His looks betray him as he gives birth to his sin. Old age with wisdom will crown you with dignity and honor, for it takes a lifetime of righteousness to acquire it. Do you want to be a mighty warrior? It's better to be known as one who is patient and slow to anger. Do you want to conquer a city? Rule over your temper before you attempt to rule a city. We may toss the coin and roll the dice, but God's will is greater than luck. Chapter 17. A simple, humble life with peace and quiet is far better than opulent lifestyle with nothing but quarrels and strife at home. A wise, intelligent servant will be honored above a shameful son. He'll even end up having a portion left to him in his master's will. In the same way gold and silver are refined by fire, the Lord purifies your heart by the tests and trials of life. Those eager to embrace evil listen to slander, for a liar loves to listen to lies. Mock the poor, will you? You insult your Creator every time you do. If you make fun of others' misfortune, you better watch out. Your punishment is on its way. Grandparents have the crowning glory of life. Grandchildren. And it's only proper for children to take pride in their parents. It's not proper for a leader to lie and to deceive. And don't expect excellent words to be spoken by a fool. Wise instruction is like a costly gem. It turns the impossible into success. Love overlooks the mistakes of others, but dwelling on the failures of others devastates friendships. One word of correction breaks open a teachable heart, but a fool can be corrected 100 times, and he still doesn't know what hit him. Rebellion thrives in an evil man, so a messenger of vengeance will be sent to punish him. It's safer to meet a grizzly bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a reckless fool. The one who returns evil for good can expect to be treated the same way for the rest of his life. Don't be one who is quick to quarrel, for an argument is hard to stop. You never know how it will end, so don't even start down that road. There is nothing God hates more than condemning the one who is innocent and acquitting the one who is guilty. Why pay tuition to educate a fool? for he has no intention of acquiring true wisdom. A dear friend will love you no matter what, and a family sticks together through all kinds of trouble. It's stupid to run up the bills you'll never be able to pay, or co-sign for the loan of your friend. Save yourself the trouble and don't do either one. If you love to argue, then you must be in love with sin, for the boaster is only asking for trouble. The one with a perverse heart never has anything good to say, and the chronic liar tumbles into constant trouble. Parents of a numbskull will have many sorrows, for there's nothing about his lifestyle that will make them proud. A joyful, cheerful heart brings healing to both body and soul, but the one whose heart is crushed struggles with sickness and depression. When you take a secret bribe, your actions reveal your true character, for you pervert the ways of justice. Even the face of a wise man shows his intelligence, but the wandering eyes of a fool will look for wisdom everywhere except right in front of his nose. A father grieves over the foolishness of his child, and bitter sorrow fills his mother. It's horrible to persecute a holy lover of God, or strike an honorable man for his integrity. Can you bridle your tongue when your heart is under pressure? That's how you show that you are wise. An understanding heart keeps you cool, calm, and collected, no matter what you're facing. For even when a fool bites his tongue, he's considered wise. So shut your mouth when you are provoked. It makes you look smart. Chapter 18. An unfriendly person isolates himself and seems to care only about his own issues, for his contempt of sound judgment makes him a recluse. Senseless people find no pleasure in acquiring true wisdom, for all they want to do is impress you with what they know. An ungodly man is always cloaked with disgrace, as dishonor and shame are his companions. Words of wisdom are like a fresh flowing brook, like deep waters that spring forth from within, bubbling up inside the one with understanding. It is atrocious when judges show favor to the guilty and deprive the innocent of justice. A senseless man jumps head first into an argument. He's just asking for a beating for his reckless words. A fool has a big mouth and only gets him into trouble, and he'll pay the price for what he says. The words of a gossip merely reveal the wounds of his own soul, and his slander penetrates into the innermost being. The one who is too lazy to look for work is the same as one who wastes his life away. The character of God is a tower of strength, for the lovers of God delight to run into his heart and be exalted on high. The rich in their conceit imagine their wealth is enough to protect them. It becomes their confidence in the day of trouble. A man's heart is the proudest when its downfall is the nearest, for he won't see glory until the Lord sees humility. Listen before you speak, for to speak before you've heard the facts will bring humiliation. The will to live sustains you when you're sick, but depression crushes courage and leaves you unable to cope. The spiritually hungry are always ready to learn more, for their hearts are eager to discover new truths. Would you like to meet a very important person? Take a generous gift, and it will do wonders to gain entrance into his presence. There are two sides to every story. The first one, to speak, sounds true until you hear the other side, and they set the record straight. A coin toss resolves a dispute and can put an argument to rest between formidable opponents. It's easier to conquer a strong city than to win back a friend that you've offended. Their walls go up, making it nearly impossible to win them back. Sharing words of wisdom are satisfying to your inner being. It encourages you to know that you're changed, that you've changed someone else's life. Your words are so weighty that they have the power to bring life or release death, and the talkative person will reap the consequences. When a man finds a wife, he has found a treasure, for she is the gift of God to bring him joy and pleasure. But the one who divorces a good woman loses what is good from his house. To choose an adulteress is both stupid and ungodly. The poor plead for help from the rich, but all they get in return is a harsh response. Some friendships don't last for long, but there is one loving friend who is joined to your heart closer than any other. Chapter 19. It's better to be honest, even if it leads to poverty, than to live as a dishonest fool. The best way to live is with revelation knowledge, for without it you'll grow impatient and run right into error. There are some people who ruin their own lives and then blame it all on God. Being wealthy means having lots of friends, but the poor can't even keep the ones they have. Perjury won't go unpunished, and liars will get all that they deserve. Everyone wants to be close to the rich and famous, but a generous person has all the friends he wants. When a man is poor, even his family has no use for him. How much more will his friends avoid him? For though he begs for help, they won't respond. Do yourself a favor and love wisdom. Learn all you can. Then watch your life flourish and prosper. Tell lies, and you're going to get caught. And the habitual liar is doomed. It doesn't seem right when you see a fool living in the lap of luxury, or a prideful servant ruling over princes. A wise person demonstrates patience, for mercy means holding your tongue. When you are insulted, be quick to forgive and forget it. For you are virtuous when you overlook an offense. The rage of a king is like the roar of a lion, but his sweet favor is like a gentle, refreshing rain. A rebellious son breaks a father's heart, and the nagging wife can drive you crazy. You can inherit houses and land from your parents, but a good wife only comes as a gracious gift from God. Go ahead, be lazy and passive, but you'll go hungry if you live that way. Honor God's holy instructions, and life will go well for you. But if you despise His ways and choose your own plans, you will die. Every time you give to the poor, you make a loan to the Lord. Don't worry. You'll be repaid in full for all the good you've done. Don't be afraid to discipline your children while they're still young enough to learn. Don't indulge your children or be swayed by their protests. A hot-tempered man has to pay the price for his anger. If you bail him out once, you'll do it a dozen times. Listen well to wise counsel and be willing to learn from correction, so that by the end of your life you'll be known for your wisdom. A person may have many ideas concerning God's plan for their life, but only the designs of His purpose will succeed in the end. A man is charming when he displays tender mercies to others, but a lover of God who is poor and promises nothing is better than a rich liar who never keeps his promises. When you live a life of abandoned love surrendered before the awe of God, here's what you'll experience: abundant life, continual protection, and complete satisfaction. There are some people who pretend they're hurt, deadbeats who won't even work to feed themselves. If you punish the insolent, who don't know any better, they will learn to not mock. But if you correct a wise man, he will grow even wiser. Kids who mistreat their parents are an embarrassment to their family and a public disgrace. So listen, my child, don't reject correction, or you'll certainly wander from the ways of truth. A corrupt witness makes a mockery of justice, for the wicked will never play by the rules. Judgment is waiting for those who mock the truth, and foolish living invites a beating. Chapter 20. A drunkard is obnoxious, loud, and argumentative. You're a fool to get intoxicated with strong drink. The rage of a king is like the roar of a lion. Do you really want to go and make him angry? A person of honor will put an argument to rest. Only the stupid want to pick a fight. If you're too lazy to plant seed, it's too bad when you have no harvest on which you feed. A man of deep understanding will give good advice, drawing it out from the well within. Many will tell you they're your loyal friends, but who can find one who is truly trustworthy? The lovers of God will walk in integrity, and their children are fortunate to have godly parents as their examples. A righteous king sits in his judgment seat. He scatters evil away from his kingdom by his wise discernment. Which of us can truly say, I am free from sin in my life, for my heart is clean and pure? Mark it down. God hates it when you demonstrate a double standard, one for them and one for you. Every child shows what they're really like by how they act. You can discern their character whether they are pure or perverse. Lovers of God have been given eyes to see with spiritual discernment and ears to hear from God. If you spend all your time sleeping, you'll grow poor. So wake up, sleephead. Don't sleep on the job. And then there will be plenty of food on your table. The buyer says as he haggles over the price, that's junk. It's worthless. Then he goes out and brags, look at the great bargain I got. You may have an abundance of wealth, piles of gold and jewels, but there is something of far greater worth, speaking revelation words of knowledge. Anyone stupid enough to guarantee a loan for a stranger deserves to have his property held as security. If you obtain dishonesty, you may obtain dishonestly may seem sweet at first, but sooner or later you'll live to regret it. If you solicit good advice, then your plans will succeed. So don't charge into battle without wisdom. For wars are won by skillful strategy. A blabbermouth will reveal your secrets, so stay away from people who can't keep their mouths shut. If you despise your father or mother, your life will flicker out like a lamp, extinguished into the deepest darkness. If an inheritance is gained too early in life, it will not be blessed in the end. Don't ever say, I'm going to get even with them if it's the last thing I do. Wrap God's grace around your heart, and He will be the one to vindicate you. The Lord hates double standards. That's hypocrisy at its worst. It is the Lord who directs your life, for each step you take is ordained by God to bring you closer to your destiny. So much of your life, then, remains a mystery. Be careful in making a rash promise before God, or you may be trapped by your vow and live to regret it. A wise king is able to discern corruption and remove wickedness from his kingdom. The Spirit of God breathed into man is like a living lamp and shining light, searching the innermost chambers of our being. Good leadership is built upon love and truth, for kindness and integrity is what keeps leaders in their position of trust. We admire the young for their strength and beauty, but the dignity of the old is their wisdom. When you are punished severely, you'll learn your lesson well, for your painful experience does wonders to change your life. Chapter 21. It says, easy for God to steer a king's heart for His purposes as it is for him to direct the course of a stream. You may think you're right all the time, but God thoroughly examines our motives. It pleases God more when we demonstrate godliness and justice than to merely offer Him a sacrifice. Arrogance, superiority, and pride are the fruits of wickedness and the true definition of sin. Brilliant ideas pay off and bring you prosperity, but making hasty, impatient decisions will only lead to a financial loss. You can make a fortune dishonestly, but your crime will hold you in the snares of death. Violent rebels don't have a chance, for the rejection of truth and their love of evil will drag them deeper into darkness. You can discern that a person is guilty by their devious actions, and the innocence of a person by their honest, sincere ways. It's better to live all alone in a rackety shack than to share a castle with a crabby spouse. The wicked always craves what is evil. They'll show no mercy and get no mercy. Senseless people learn their lessons the hard way, but the wise are teachable. A godly, righteous person has the ability to bring the light of instruction to the wicked, even though they despise what the wicked do. If you close your heart to the cries of the poor, then I'll close my ears when you cry out to me. Try giving a secret gift to the one who is angry with you and watch his anger disappear. A kind, generous gift goes a long way to soothe the anger of the one who is livid. When justice is served, the lovers of God celebrate and rejoice. But the wicked begin to panic when you forsake the ways. Oh wait, let me read that again. When justice is served, the lovers of God celebrate and rejoice, but the wicked begin to panic. When you forsake the ways of wisdom, you will wander into the realm of dark spirits. To love pleasure for pleasure's sake will introduce you to poverty. Indulging in a life of sybaritic luxury will never make you wealthy. The wicked bring on themselves the very suffering they plan for others, for their treachery comes back to haunt them. It's better to live in a hut in the wilderness than with a crabby, scolding spouse. In wisdom's house you'll find delightful treasures and the oil of the Holy Spirit. But the stupid squander what they have been given. The lovers of God who chase after righteousness will find all their dreams come true. An abundant life drenched with favor and a fountain that overflows with satisfaction. A warrior filled with wisdom ascends into the high place and releases regional breakthrough, bringing down the strongholds of the mighty. Watch your words and be careful what you say, and you'll be surprised how few troubles you have. An arrogant man is inflated with pride, nothing but a snooty scoffer in love with his own opinion. Mr. Mocker is his name. Taking the easy way out is the habit of a lazy man, and it will be his downfall. All day long he thinks about all the things he craves, for he hasn't learned the secret that the generous man has learned. Extravagant giving never leads to poverty. To bring an offering to God with an ulterior motive is detestable, for it amounts to nothing but hypocrisy. No one believes a notorious liar, but the guarded words of an honest man stand the test of time. The wicked are shameless and stubborn, but the lovers of God have a holy confidence. All your brilliant wisdom and clever insight will be of no help at all if the Lord is against you. You can do your best to prepare for the battle, but ultimate victory comes from the Lord God. Proverbs 22. A beautiful reputation is more to be desired than great riches, and to be lovingly esteemed by others is more honorable than to own immense investments. The rich and the poor have one thing in common: the Lord God created each one. A prudent person with insight foresees danger coming and prepares himself for it. but the senseless rush blindly forward and suffer the consequences. Laying your life down in tender surrender before the Lord will bring life, prosperity, and honor as your reward. Twisted and perverse lives are surrounded by demonic influence. If you value your soul, stay away from them. Dedicate your children to God and point them in the way that they should go. And the values they've learned from you will be with them for life. If you borrow money with interest, you'll end up serving the interests of your creditors. For the rich rule over the poor. Sin is a seed that brings a harvest. You'll reap a heap of trouble with every seed you plant. For your investment in sin pays a full return, the full punishment you deserve. When you are generous to the poor, you are enriched with blessings in return. Say goodbye to a troublemaker, and you'll say goodbye to quarrels, strife, tension, and arguments. For a troublemaker traffics in shame. The Lord loves those whose hearts are holy, and He is the friend of those whose ways are pure. God passionately watches over His deep well of revelation knowledge, but He subverts the lies of those who pervert the truth. A slacker always has an excuse for not working, like, I can't go to work, there's a lion outside, and murderers too. Sex with an adulteress is like falling into the abyss. Those under God's curse can jump right in to their own destruction. Although rebellion is woven into a young man's heart, tough discipline can make him into a man. There are two kinds of people headed towards poverty: those who exploit the poor and those who bribe the rich. Listen carefully and open your heart. Drink in the wise revelation that I impart. When you treasure the beauty of my words, you'll become winsome and wise. Always be prepared to share my words at the appropriate time. For I'm releasing these words to you this day, yes, even to you, so that your living hope will be found in God alone. For He's the only one who is always true. Pay attention to these excellent sayings of threefold things. From within my words, you will discover true and reliable revelation. They will give you serenity, so that you can reveal the truth of the word of the one who sends you. Never oppress the poor, or pass laws with the motive of crushing the weak. For the Lord will rise to plead their case and humiliate the one who humiliates the poor. Walk away from an angry man, or you'll embrace a snare into your soul by becoming bad-tempered just like him. Why would you ever guarantee a loan for someone else or promise to be responsible for their debts? For if you fail to pay, you could lose your shirt. The previous generation has set boundaries in place. Don't you dare move them just to benefit yourself. If you are uniquely gifted in your work, you will rise to be promoted. You won't be held back. You'll stand before kings. Chapter 23. If you have been invited to dine with a very important person, consider your manners and keep in mind who you're with. Be careful to curb your appetite. Don't be deceived by all his delicacies, for they may have another motive in having you sit at their table. Don't compare yourself to the rich. Surrender your selfish ambition and evaluate them properly. For no sooner do you start counting your wealth than it sprouts wings and flies away like an eagle in the sky. Here today, gone tomorrow. Be sensible when you dine with a stingy man, and don't eat more than you should, for he's a tightwad who only has one thing on his mind. How much is this going to cost me? He will grudgingly say, go ahead and eat all you want. But in his heart he resents the fact that he has to pay for your meal. You'll be sorry you ate anything at all, and all your compliments will be wasted. A rebellious fool will despise your wise advice, so don't even waste your time. Save your breath. Never move a long-standing boundary line or attempt to take land that belongs to the fatherless, for they have a mighty protector, a loving Redeemer, who watches over them, and he will stand up for their cause. Pay close attention to the teaching that corrects you, and open your heart to every word of instruction. Don't withhold appropriate discipline from your child. Go ahead and punish him when he needs it. Don't worry, it won't kill him. A good spanking could be the very thing that teaches him a lifelong lesson. My beloved child, when your heart is full of wisdom, my heart is full of gladness. When you speak anointed words, we are speaking mouth to mouth. Don't allow the actions of evil men to cause you to burn with anger. Instead, burn with unrelenting passion as you worship God in holy awe. Your future is bright and filled with living hope that will never fade away. As you listen to me, my beloved child, you will grow in wisdom, and your heart will be drawn into understanding to make right decisions. Don't live in the excesses of drunkenness or gluttony, or wasting your life away by partying all the time, because drunkards and gluttons sleep their lives away and end up broke. Give respect to your father and mother, for without them, you wouldn't even be here. And don't neglect them when they grow old. Embrace the truth and hold it close. Don't let go of wisdom, instruction, and life-giving understanding. When a father observes his child living in godliness, he's ecstatic with joy. Nothing makes him prouder. So may your father's heart burst with joy and your mother's soul be filled with gladness, all because of you. My son, give me your heart and embrace fully what I'm about to tell you. Stay far away from prostitutes, and you'll stay far away from the pit of destruction. For sleeping with a promiscuous woman is like falling into a trap that you'll never be able to escape. Like a robber hiding in the shadows, she's waiting to claim another victim. Another husband unfaithful to his wife. Who has anguish? Who has bitter sorrow? Who constantly complains and argues? Who stumbles and falls and hurts himself? Who's the one with bloodshot eyes? Who's the one who drinks too much and is always looking for a brew? Make sure it's never you. And don't be drunk with wine, but be known as one who enjoys the companies of the lovers of God. For drunkenness brings the sting of a serpent, like the fangs of a viper upon your soul. It will make you hallucinate, mumble, and speak words that are perverse. You'll be like a seasick sailor being tossed to and fro, dizzy and out of your mind. You'll awake only to say, "What hit me? I feel like I've been run over by a truck." And off you'll go looking for another drink. Chapter 24. Don't envy the wealth of the wicked or crave their company, for they're obsessed with causing trouble, and their conversations are corrupt. Wise people are builders. They build families, businesses, communities, and through intelligence and insight, their enterprises are established and endure. Because of their skilled leadership, the hearts of people are filled with treasures of wisdom and pleasures of spiritual wealth. Wisdom can make anyone into a mighty warrior, and revelation knowledge increases strength. Wise strategy is necessary to wage war with many astute advisors. You'll see the path to victory more clearly. Wisdom is a treasure too lofty for a quarreling fool. He'll have nothing to say when leaders gather together. There is one who makes plans to do evil. Master Schemer is his name. If you plan to do evil, it's as wrong as doing it, and everyone detests a troublemaker. If you faint under pressure, you have no courage. Go and rescue the perishing. Be their savior. Why would you stand back and watch them stagger to their death? And why would you say, "But it's none of my business"? Yet the one who knows you completely and judges your every motive is also the keeper of souls, not just yours. And he sees through your excuses and holds you responsible for failing to help those whose lives are threatened. Revelation knowledge is a delicacy, sweet like flowing honey that melts in your mouth. Eat as much of it as you can, my friend, for then you will perceive what is true wisdom. Your future will be bright, and all this hope living within will never disappoint you. Listen up, you reverent ones. Don't harass the lovers of God, and don't invade their resting place. For the lovers of God may suffer adversity and stumble 7 times, but they will continue to rise over and over again. But the unrighteous are brought down by just one calamity and will never be able to rise again. Never gloat when your enemy meets disaster, and don't be quick to rejoice if he falls. For the Lord who sees your heart will be displeased with you and will pity your foe. Don't be angrily offended by evildoers or be agitated by them, for the wicked have no life and no future. Their light of life will die out. My child, stand in awe of the Lord Jehovah. Give counsel to others. Don't mingle with those who are rebellious, for sudden destruction will fall upon them, and their lives will be ruined in a moment. And who knows what retribution they will face. Those enlightened with wisdom have spoken these proverbs. Judgment must be impartial, for it is always wrong to be swayed by a person's status. If you say to the guilty, "You are innocent," the nation will curse you, and the people will revile you. But when you convict the guilty, the people will thank you and reward you with favor. Speaking honestly is a sign of true friendship. Go ahead, build your career, give yourself to your work, but if you put me first, you'll see your family be built up. Why would you be a false accuser and slander with your words? Don't ever spitefully say, "I'll get even with him. I'll do to him what he did to me." One day I passed by the field of a lazy man, and I noticed the vineyards of a slacker. I observed nothing but thorns and weeds and broken down walls. So I considered their lack of wisdom, and I pondered the lessons I could learn from this. Professional work habits prevent poverty from becoming your permanent business partner. And if you put off until tomorrow the work you could do today, tomorrow never seems to come. Chapter 25. God conceals the revelation of His Word in the hiding place of His glory. But the honor of kings is revealed to all by how they thoroughly mine out the deeper meaning of all that God says. The heart of a king is full of understanding, like the heavens are high and the ocean is deep. If you burn away the impurities from silver, a sterling vessel will emerge from the fire. If you purge corruption from the kingdom, a king's reign will be established in righteousness. Don't boast in the presence of a king, or promote yourself by taking a seat at the head table, and pretend that you're someone important. For it's better for the king to say to you, "Come, and you should sit at the head of the table." Come, you should sit at the head table. Than for him to say in front of everyone, "Please get up and move. You're sitting in the place of the prince." Don't be hasty to file a lawsuit, starting something you wish you hadn't. You could be humiliated when you lose your case. Don't reveal another person's secret just to prove a point in an argument, or you could be accused of being a gossip and gain a reputation of being one who betrays the confidence of a friend. Winsome words are spoken at just the right time, are just as appealing as apples gilded in a gold and surrounded with silver. To humbly receive wise correction adorns your life with beauty and makes you a better person. A reliable, trustworthy messenger refreshes the heart of his master, like a gentle breeze blowing at harvest time, cooling the sweat off of his brow. Clouds that carry no water and a wind that brings no refreshing rain, that's what you're like when you boast of a gift that you don't have. Use patience and kindness when you want to persuade a leader, and watch them change their mind right in front of you. For your gentle wisdom will quell the strongest resistance. When you discover something sweet, don't overindulge and eat more than you need, for excess in anything can make you sick of even a good thing. Don't wear out your welcome by staying too long at the home of your friends, or they may get fed up with always having you there and wish you wouldn't come. Lying about and slandering someone is as bad as hitting them with a club, or wounding them with an arrow, or stabbing them with a sword. You can't depend upon an unreliable person when you really need help. It can be compared to biting down on an obsessed tooth, or walking with a sprained ankle. When you sing a song of joy to someone suffering in the deepest grief and heartache, it can be compared to stealing their coat in the middle of a blizzard or rubbing salt in their wound. Is your enemy hungry? Buy him lunch. Win him over with your kindness. Your surprising generosity will awaken his conscience, and God will reward you with favor, as the north wind brings a storm. Saying things you shouldn't brings a storm to any relationship. It's better to live all alone in a rundown shack than to share a castle with a crabby spouse. Like a drink of cool water to a weary, thirsty soul, so hearing good news revives the spirit. When a lover of God gives in and compromises with wickedness, it can be compared to contaminating a stream with sewage or polluting a fountain. It's good to eat sweet things, but you can take too much. It's good to be honored, but sweet words of praise is not honor at all. If you live without restraint, you are unable to control your temper. If you live without restraint and are unable to control your temper, you're as helpless as a city with broken down defenses, open to attack. Chapter 26. It is totally out of place to promote and honor a fool, just like it is out of place to have snow in the summer and rain at the harvest time. An undeserved curse will be powerless to harm you. It may flutter over you like a bird, but it will find no place to land. Guide a horse with a whip, direct a donkey with a bridle, and a rebellious fool with a beating on his backside. Don't respond to the words of a fool with more foolish words, or you will become as foolish as he is. Yet, if you're asked a silly question, answer it with words of wisdom, so the fool doesn't think he's so clever. If you choose a fool to represent you, you're asking for trouble. It would be as bad for you as cutting off your own feet. You can never trust the words